All right, first and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Mahashiach, one like Yahweh. That's all praises unto glorification unto the Most High Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah. All right, who the world refers to as Jesus Christ. His real name is Yahweh Shah. All right, and He's the Savior of the nation of Israel. Shalom, shalom, Yashala. All right, shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel. I'm gonna get straight into this. It's just a quick cut going into how to properly break down Esther chapter 8 and verse 17. What's the proper understanding? And can other nations, heathens, right, the Goyim, actually change their ethnicity and nationality? Is that actually possible? Is that in the Bible? Right? Because you have some people that teach supersessionism and replacement theology, which says that basically since Israel rejected the Most High in the Old Testament, and they also rejected Mahashiach Yahweh Shah, right, or Christ, now it's open for all nations, and all nations can inherit the promises that were given to the ethnic Israelites. And that's not in the Bible at all. All right, we're gonna go to a certain verse which they stumble upon, and we're going to properly get the understanding through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. All right, if you teach supersessionism and replacement theology, that's literally teaching anti-Semitism according to their definition, and you are an anti-Israelite because you are against the promises of the Israelites, the ethnic Israelites, all right? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But Esther chapter 8, verse 17, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, Esther chapter 8 and verse 17. And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness and a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. Okay, so the text says, and remember, when it says, and many of the people is going into the other nations. Yes, we acknowledge that. But it says, many of the people of the land became Jews. So how do you become a Jew? They'll take this and they'll say, see, it's possible for you to change your nationality and ethnicity, right? When you really say that, it doesn't make any sense. And first, let's go into the Hebrew. All right, so you have to go into the Hebrew to properly understand this, because the scriptures wasn't written in English, all right? Remember, we're reading the English translation because now that is the lingua franca, right? And that is the language that we speak, right? But we have to look at the original language. So in the original language, which is Hebrew, let's see what it says. So let's go down. Now, first of all, I want to establish this. The word for Jew in the modern Hebrew is Yehudi. All right? It's Yehudi. As you can see right here, Yehudi, what goes back to the Hebrew word Yahweh, which means Judah. All right? So that's the word Jew. It's Yehudi. All right? Now, so they came the Jews. Slakia. Go back to this. All right? So we have to look into the Hebrew. It says, his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day, and many of the people of the land, right, became Jews. Now, hold on now. The word for Jews right here is Strong's H 3054, which is Yahad. It's a different Hebrew word. Now, let's look at this definition. Yahad, right?
Strong's H 3054. Yahad. Yahad.
Right, so Yahad, right? Now, outline of biblical usage. To become a Jew, in fact or in fraud, become Judaized. So that's how these people became Jews, because they became Judaized. They took on the mannerisms and traditions of the Jews, right? That's all that means. It doesn't mean that they changed their nationality. It doesn't mean that they are now an Israelite because they are following after the mannerisms of Israelites. Because remember, for example, Ruth, the Moabite, she was still a Moabite even though she was cleaving onto the house of Israel. When you read in the book of Judith, all right, there was this Ammonite that clave onto the house of Judah, right? That cleaved onto the house of Judah, onto the house of Israel, yet he was still called an Ammonite, right? So that doesn't change the fact. That doesn't change your nationality just because you want to cleave onto the Jews. It just means that these people were living after the customs and mannerisms of Israelites, right? and therefore they became so-called Judaized, right? It says from the form corresponding, right, to Judaize, to become Jewish, i.e. become Jewish, become Jews. So just like how in that word Jewish, Jewish means what? Something like a Jew, right? Because that suffix ish, I-S-H, means to like or pertaining to. Like if I said, what time is it? And this person said, it's 5-ish. He's not really saying that it's exactly 5 o'clock. He's saying that it's around 5, right? Or if I said that your shirt is pink-ish, I'm not saying that it's literally pink, right? Or if I called you and you're a boy and I say you're acting girlish, I'm not calling you a girl. You're something like a girl, right? If you can understand what I'm saying. So even in this definition, it says to make oneself a Jew, to embrace the Jewish religion. Esther 8:17. So that's that definition. That's what that means. So let's read it again with the proper understanding. Esther chapter 8 and verse 17. And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness and a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, meaning they became Judaized. They took on the mannerisms of the Israelites, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them, because they were afraid of the Israelites. They were afraid of the Jews, right? They were afraid of us. So that's why they took on our customs, right? That's why they took on our customs. Because remember, even when you go to the book of additions to Esther, let's go to the book of additions to Esther, right? Addition to Esther chapter 7 and verse 24. Therefore, every city and country whatsoever which shall not do according to these things shall be destroyed without mercy with fire and sword, and shall be made not only unpassable for men, but also most hateful to wild beasts and fowls forever. So, meaning that way, if you don't conform to the Israelites at one point in time, even in the kingdom, right? Hey, you're going to be burnt, utterly burnt with fire and shown no mercy. All right. So, and that was the decree even given at this time, right? So they were afraid of the Jews. That's why it says when we go back here, and many of the people in the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. All right. And this is just a quick video. There's other precepts to support it, to support this too, but this is just a quick video. All right. So with that, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashema, Mashak, Yahweh, Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom. Kwam Yashala.